Hey folks, this is Jeffro Destructo, bringing you all the really good stuff. I'm waiting on YouTube to boot up so I can make sure everything's working properly, and then we are gonna get on it. Yep, sounds like we got it. So one more adjustment. There we go. All right. So a friend of mine lives back east, and she has, let's just call it interesting property. So we're going to call it interesting property. Interesting property. She has interesting neighbors. And she is interesting. Interesting. So, she told me about something called the crossroads. And even before I could really set things up and take a look at it, I was getting kind of cool vibes. So I'm kind of front loaded because there's a picture, and the picture had a road and two telephone poles, and some trees in the background. So it's kind of like an open field there. Anyways, you get the idea. So it's a road, power pole, not a lot going on. So my job as a remote viewer is to look at not just the what's here, but look at, I don't need to look at what's there because we have a picture for that. What I need to look at is why is there a potential? Okay, and by potential I mean the energy is building up in this area. So if I'm gonna draw this from my perspective, from what I'm looking at, we're gonna literally put this area with energy. So this area has an expanding potential, and I don't know why. Now, when I look at her property, I've seen different aspects of different things, like just energy signatures that are not what you would call ordinary. And this is very similar to it. It's kind of like a Let's just call it a field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of it real quick. And then once I take a picture of it, then we'll erase everything and go on to, we're going to go on to the field. Okay. So, interesting property right here. Interesting neighbors right here. Just damn interesting. Alright. So let's look at this potential real quick. And we're going to just keep calling it potential because that's the best word for it. So with this potential, there's gradient energy. So over this field, yeah, or in this field, or near this field, I have this bubble, and in it there's currently two sources, and there doesn't seem to be a disharmony. You know how you get two energy fields next to each other, you get kind of ripply. Well, we got a little bit of that, but nothing major. So I'm assuming that both of them, both these are radiating this energy. So I'd love to make a 3D. If I could make a 3D rendering of what this looks like, it looks like two oranges trying to fight for supremacy. In the middle of each orange is a seed, and they're trying to overlap each other, and it's not working. So this whole that's kind of cool. So these two energy sources probably shouldn't, be too close to each other, but it doesn't matter. We do know we have a gradient energy source. This is a given. I could see it, I could smell it. I bet you if I took something out in the field, I could probably detect it. This for sure, that I know we could detect. So this is giving off the interaction is giving off something that is detectable. Now I don't know what it would be or how it would be affecting, but the overlap causes something that's really relevant. All right, nice. So now that I know we have we got two. We got two of these giving off the same thing, so let's take a look at them. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the gradient energies. We're going to look at the source. The funny thing is so here's the road, and you have them here. So they're so if you're to stand here on the road, you're going to see two, but if you're going to stand here, you're going to see, well, I don't know if you'd even see them, but you're going to see one. And that's the other thing. Now I got to figure out how high they are off the ground. So let's look at distances. Let's figure out how far away they are. So the first one, so if you're standing on the road, you got to look up. So person's here, looks up. We have gradient 1 and gradient 2. Gradient 2 is just a little bit higher. So the person will see this one and this one. Okay, cool. So now remember, folks, if you're going to go out searching for gradients, make sure you take along a good jacket. Make sure you take along a flashlight. I mean, everybody knows that flashlights go dark when you find energy gradients. That's common knowledge. And make sure you're packing. So it's a word to the wise. Alright, we got the two gradients. One's a little higher than the other. They're off the road, and I want to say 1,000 yards, but I think they're a lot closer. I really think they're a lot closer. As far as height, I wonder if that's 100 feet. So I think the maximum is going to be 1,000 yards, probably closer to 500 yards, and then about 100 feet off the ground, and then this is probably 150, 200. So currently at this point in time and space, these two energy sources are off the ground. And like I said, this is not unusual. It's an unusual place with unusual friends and unusual things. So we're just going to call it unusual. We're going to call it energy gradient. 100 feet off the ground, 500 yards out. We're going to call it good. Alright, I like it. Take a picture real quick. Ooh. Alright, so let us look at the source. We'll use a darker color for the source. So here's the source. Yeah, you can see that one better. So what we're going to do on the source is we're going to cross section it and make it bigger. I'm going to do a side view of the No, 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 that ain't it. All right. Yeah, it's funny. One of the things about these, this is a really crappy drawing. I can't get the angles right, and I know this isn't nearly as round like that, but it's going to be round like this because I can't get everything I need to get in here with that shape. So bear with me. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to call this the flight deck. So on the flight deck, we're going to call them pilots. The pilots are connected to what I lovingly call an AI. So the pilots and the AI, that kind of makes a nice little three-man team. And it's not really an AI, it's more like a autopilot. So two pilots and an AI. I was looking at the closer one, wasn't I? Why is there two? Alright, so anyways, I don't know why there's two. I don't know if it just makes operating it easier. Um, the funny thing is here we have, I mean, obviously it's got a radar signature. Well, I don't know if it's got a radar signature because the energy would be really, the energy gradient would be kind of keeping it down to a dull roar. But there's a lot of traffic in the area. There's a lot of air traffic. So you would think that if you have a hole in the radar, you would notice stuff like this. Gimbals? Gimbals. How the hell do you spell gimbal? Not quite sure what this is. It almost looks like two chairs, but they're two chairs at an angle. I mean, I'm not understanding what this is. It literally looks like two chairs at an angle. I mean, alright, well, I don't know what that is. So these guys, God, I wonder if that's for passengers. That's an awful small area. You know, there's got to be landing gear too, because I can't imagine these guys just sitting on the gimbals, or gimbaled, or whatever the hell these are. I don't know. So anyways, I digress. So the two pilots are in the upper portion. In the lower portion, we have the three gimbaled units and this two chairs. And I'm not quite sure what the two chairs are, so we're just gonna kind of leave it at that and call it good. I'm gonna take a picture of it. Give me 1 sec. Okay. So I'm my interpretation of this is the crossroad has this there. This is one of the sources. And the source of the energy. See, these don't seem to be the energy source. Now, I mean, I would really like to find what the source. I need to find what the source is of the energy gradient that I see, because that ain't it. So one of the things I'm looking at is across the skin of this thing is like vibrating. So there's a resonant hum. Um, I wonder if this is the same resonant hum that military aircrafts have. I think it's the B-1B has is it the electrified intake? Anyways, it uses some sort of electric charge to minimize, I think it's radar signature. I can't remember. But it's got a very particular feel to it. Really interesting. But what I'm looking for is why there's literally a massive bubble right there. Rather than a visible ship, I have a bubble. Why? And the only answer I'm getting is phase tuning. Now, is that like the Philadelphia experiment phase tuning? I mean, are we talking the Philly experiment style? Experiment, which did or did not happen according to who you talk to. So let's say it is the Philly experiment style, and let's say the reason we can't visibly see this is because they have a phase tuned power source. Which I guess, in all possibility, maybe they're drawing power off these three. Maybe these are like three little generators, as well as. I mean, I'm getting this. I'm literally getting these coming out, which are actually pretty much in step with this too. So the flattened section, this flattened section right here, that can't be wasted space. I mean, there's got to be something in there, unless it really is just a narrow. So when I look at that, this section right here, so let's do this in layers. I'm going to take this section right here. Take a pic of this real quick. Alright. Hopefully you guys can see everything. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this right here. Okay. And I know there's supposed to be the landing gear in there and whatever. But the feel of this, it feels like layers. Okay, so multiple layers, multiple skins. Each skin has a different function. And the curve actually has this curve right here. So this path here and this path here are different. This is longer than this path. And for whatever reason, these layers amplify that length. And this feels really important. Just like the trailing edge and the leading edge on a fighter jet, when you electrify it, which I think this gets electrified or high voltage or something, it creates, because the same signal starts out here, right? So we have the same signal here, but when it gets down to here and they combine, now it's a different signal. So you have this signal and this signal, which is slightly out of sync due to the length of the length that it's got to travel, and how it goes through this. How it goes through the skin. So something about the skin, the layering, and the signal being injected into it. So when it gets to here, these two sinks combine and form what I'm going to describe as a shower. And I don't know how else to describe it. So a single wave doubled up in power. That's really cool, because this basically forms a big ass bubble. And then over here it does the same thing, so the bubble actually connects. Well, that's pretty friggin' cool. I did not know that. And I'm not sure how this layering is working. I don't understand, because I got God, I don't know how to draw this. Anyways, I don't know how to draw this, folks. I am totally at a loss. I guess I'm going to call it encapsulated. So this is a cross section. So now if you can picture this, this way, right? So all these layers go all the way around this thing. So you would literally have to 3D model this in order to make it. And every perforation, everywhere there's a change, you have to go around it. So these 3 holes have on the bottom were wrapped around. It's literally they want this bubble to literally come back on itself as it travels around. That is just the coolest damn thing. One of these days I'll get a 3D modeler and I'll make that. Like, for now, yeah, you're going to have to be happy with my really crappy drawings. So that's number 1. This must be number 2. This is just a drone. But again, you still have the same wrapping around. Well, that's kind of cool. I'm not picking up. I'm not picking up what you would call intelligence, other than a basic AI. So let's just call the drones, and there's more than one drone, but there's like 30 of them. But this one seems to be the one in the area, so there's about 30 of the damn things. So if you're to look up in the air with a decent camera or whatever, you would see 30 energy signatures. That's cool. I did not know that about that. I did not know that about that shape. Now I guess the question is why. So, for all the people out there, why? Why is there interesting people and things at this property? Why tonight? What's going on tonight? We have an unusual moon. Unusual moon. Unusual. unusual energies. Task. They have a task. Alright, so they're here for a reason. Well, what would the reason be? Alright, so let's just say that's some sort of interaction with the military. Where? Because it's not on a base. I got too many eyes. Alright, so there's an interaction tonight. They're having it, well, they're having an interaction this week. So, because this is limited, because this is a limited thing, there should be increased activity. So let's say it's not them. Let's say it's still an interaction, but it's not these guys. Let's let these guys have fun. Won't talk about them again. Is there another reason or another interaction that they're looking for? And alright, all you Native Americans, roll up your sleeves, drop your drawers. So as far as the sample goes, all I'm getting is genome viability. And interaction. Warning. So let's see. Yeah, you guys can see it. Okay, genome viability, interaction, and warning in samples. I'm gonna let these guys handle it. They got this under control. I don't understand why the genome viability, interaction, or warning is here. So I don't think I have whatever this subset has. I must not be a carrier of this recorded material, which is good, I guess. So I don't have to worry about it. So the main group of people are fine. The subset of group of people have something in their genetic material that is interesting. I don't know. So this is not the only group that I'm looking at. And what I don't understand is, now that I have multiple groups that I've been watching, is this group working with the three groups that I'm looking at? I mean, well, I have three main ones that I look at, and then there's more, but I mean, so let's look at this little incident. These are not the ones I've been watching. This is the standard. The pilots are pretty standard for all the ships, so they're really of no big deal. But I look at humanoid, mantid, purple, and God bless America. Oh, putting it right onto my brain. I cannot believe it. Anyways, I was looking at Skinny Bob. I was looking at him as well, but Skinny Bob, and then excuse me, he's kind of like a tall white, but a hell of a lot more muscular and a little bit more pissed off. So it wasn't a tall white, and it wasn't a Nordic. So Nordic, okay. So it wasn't. It was just somebody who looked similar to a tall white, but was pretty. Skinny Bob, a purple manid, and a hominid. And the hominid's military. And I don't. Definitely not them. While the manids ride around with these pilots, they're not there. I don't think it was Skinny Bob. And I'm not really even sure if it was these guys. So I don't know which group the pilots came from, or working with, I should say. And I don't know which group the 30 drones are attached to. I mean, one of these three groups, not the military hominids. So the pilots usually don't have the agenda either. The pilots usually have go here, go there. You know, same with the drones. The drones and the AI, you know. but I know I'm pretty sure that our military is not working with these guys. And I can't imagine Skinny Bob working with the military, so we're going to put a big X underneath that. That leaves that one and that one. I don't know. So we're going to just chalk it up to 2 pilots and an AI out for a joyride. Yeah. And if I had the technical skills, I would leave you with the heavy metal theme song, and that would be like totally cool. I didn't even think about that. Anyways, we got the who, we got the what, we got the where, we got the how. Anybody has a question, you can drop me a line. I'm going to be putting out a lot more stuff on YouTube. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys all dropping in and taking a look at my stuff. Y'all have a good night.